Mr. Miles. Hey, I talked to Craig's not gonna be here.
You talk to him?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He's speaking somewhere. He's speaking somewhere tonight.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna
So I
be
said, I'll call him. So we'll get something.
So what did he say? He gonna meet?
Go ahead.
I said we'll call him.
I called for
No,
you.
he's not
Found
gonna
out
be
you
here.
were gonna be here.
Oh, he not coming?
He's not
When I
coming
didn't
at
get
all.
an answer, I said, yeah, she'll be there.
Yeah, I talked after I got
Don't
on
forget,
the way here. I
don't
called
forget
him.
we have to take a
I
picture.
say, hey, I talked with you and I would like for us to get together. But he's not gonna be
You
here.
want to catch up on stuff? You sure you want to know what's going on? Do like I do. Check to make sure my ad is in there. Yes, in there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Is that okay?
Our agenda meeting is now open. Mr. Veal, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Appointed chairman to review bids for project number CP 3502, Kirby and Hodges Street sidewalk repairs. Appointed chairman to review bids for the purchase of janitorial supplies for use by various divisions and departments of the city of Lake Charles. Public hearing and consideration on alteration of shoreline of Priam Lake to remove and replace an old timber boat dock and remove and replace old concrete bulkhead by installing vinyl sheeting and fill for bank line stabilization at 4,000 Lock Lane, lot number 13. An ordinance ordering demolition and authorizing the city of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for demolition of a structure located at 2030 and a half Terrio Street, Elnora Luke owner, subject to a tax sale to the state of Louisiana. Another demolition at 410 North Simmons Street, Pamela Marie Swain owner, subject to a tax sale to the state of Louisiana. Another demolition at 614 Blake Street, Larry Miller and Joanne LeBlanc Miller owners. Ordinance is final action. An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a lease agreement with VGM Financial Services for the lease of golf courts for use at Mallard Golf Club. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing the city of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for project number LCR 409 Buddy Prejean Park enhancements. An ordinance for consideration to amend the official zoning map from a neighborhood zoning district to a business zoning district located at 2400 Opelousas Street and 330 North Lincoln Street. An ordinance authorizing the city of Lake Charles to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with Greater St. Mary Baptist Church for the transfer of ownership of properties, parcel number 00570052 and parcel number 005817771 for use in the church's operations related to the CDBG-DR Hope Center project. An ordinance authorizing the city of Lake Charles, Louisiana to designate the American Press as the official journal of the city of Lake Charles, Louisiana for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Resolutions, a resolution accepting project number CP 3308 Downtown Streetscape, Phase 2 Bilbo Street between Division Street and Mill Street as substantially complete and authorizing the advertising of the 45-day lien period. A resolution setting date for public hearing and consideration on alteration of existing shoreline, Contraband Bayou, to conduct dredging operations for 2 boat slips, construct a boat shed, place fill for bank line stabilization behind existing bulkhead, and extending an existing culvert and constructing a new bulkhead at 3725 Burgoyne Lane by Louisiana Marine Construction. Ordinances for introduction of an ordinance adopting and levying the annual property tax millages for the city of Lake Charles for the tax year 2025. Introduction of an ordinance authorizing the city of Lake Charles to amend the 2024-2025 operating and capital budget to reallocate funds from DR000 Disaster Recovery Unappropriated Fund to DR009 Lake Charles Police Department Annex Project. Introduction of an ordinance authorizing the city of Lake Charles to enter into a lease agreement with Turf and Saw Management LLC for the lease of equipment to be used for the maintenance of Mallard Golf Club grounds. Introduction of an ordinance accepting the lowest responsible quote and authorizing the city of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for Bancroft Street sewer repairs. Introduction of an ordinance accepting the lowest responsible quote and authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for Ryan Street sewer repairs. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Mr. Gann, do you have anything tonight?
No, I do not have anything in the line of placing on the agenda, but I do want to say my final word that I have enjoyed serving this city and on this council and with these administrative people and all who are affiliated with the City of Lake Charles for the last 28 years. And I want you to know that we've grown close to each other, and thank you for the support that you've given during that process. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. August, may I say
Yes,
something?
sir.
I would like to say, Mr. Guion, it's been a privilege for me to be able to work with you over the 28 years. You've been a tremendous asset to your district and to the City of Lake Charles, and it's been a pleasure, and we're in a better place because of your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gann, for your service and for your help to me. Mr. Weatherford.
I don't have anything. Oh, I think nothing for the agenda, and the police department's working on this, but I've gotten some complaints again about 337 Prestige on Ryan Street, just some of the noise. A lot of it's in the parking lot, but it's on our radar, and I know they've spoken with the owners, but the residents had brought up that concern again. So basically, we're just on top of it and working on it to try to get a satisfactory resolution for everybody, hopefully.
You finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Ayub?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes, ma'am. I have three things. First thing, want to say thank you to I know Mr. Eckert's not here, but thank you to Mr. Eckert and Mr. Guillen, Ms. August, and Mr. Ayu for your leadership, not just from the City of Lake Charles, but for taking people like me under your wing. I know we talked about that a little bit, but I don't think we can say that enough times. So thank you to all of you. The other thing I want to do is thank you to the city administration, Mr. Castile, everyone who made the pool, Mr. Tisno, I think he's in here somewhere, Mr. Cardone, Mayor Hunter, everybody who played a major part into the pool. It was a surreal day to be able to see the pool come into existence. So can't wait to swim. I promise I'm not going to be the first person to do a cannonball, but I'm excited for the kids in District 8. So thank you all for that. The other thing is there's a resident, he may be in here. I know we don't have a time to be able to come up there, but it was a situation. I just needed to get clarity for him on a demolition on Fournette Street, but I think he turned in the court, so we can talk about that a little bit later. And then the last thing was, I've called Energy a couple times for those particular areas, but along Opelousas Street, Moling Street, Shattuck Street, Prater Street, about the lights. We have several lights that are out, and as I stated before, with it being summertime and students, kids are out of school, if we could just try to get any assistance in lighting those areas up, it would be appreciated. But that's all I have.
Thank you. I have several things. I don't know how it's done, but at the intersection of Enterprise Boulevard and Broad Street, I guess lightning has done something to the lights there, and there probably should be a traffic officer at that intersection because it was at the time people were getting off, and it was kind of hectic as to who should go first and who shouldn't. So maybe it's been taken care of by now. I don't know, but I just wanted to bring that up. The second thing that I wanted to say is Mr. Byron Beverly has property at 2111A Elder Street. He asked for an extension because he's working on a cross assessment of some property he has there, and he's trying to figure out whether he's going to fix the slab and redo the building or whether he's going to demolish it. He asked for 60 days, so I'm just putting that on the agenda. The next thing I have to say, this is my last meeting, and John, when is my legitimately last day?
The 30th?
The 30th, so I still have a right to say what I want to say.
You do.
Okay, I'm kind of concerned because I haven't heard anything, and I've been keeping my ear to the ground, but we have over 50% of new council members coming in. And there are some items on the agenda that I was just wondering, had there been meetings the way we have meetings with three to come in and have things explained to them? For instance, this cooperative endeavor agreement with Greater St. Mary Baptist Church. Ms. McDaniel, do they understand what the CDBG, I think it's the CDBG GR, whatever it is, do the new council members understand how that operates? Because the word on the street and is spreading is that the church they want to apply for a grant, but they can't get the grant as such because the CDBG funds won't go to a religiously owned property. And so there's a lot of discussion about the city buying property and then giving property back. And I'm just speaking for clarification, but there's also talk about how some of this property may have been included in the property that the city paid for already for right-of-way when the Enterprise Boulevard extension was going to go through that area. So they're saying, why are we paying double? Why is the city paying double for property that they paid for to give to a church? And the church doesn't even know if they have the grant yet. There's no plan. So I'm really speaking up for the members who are coming in, because I can say that as council members working with all of these people, we have been called in for meetings, but we haven't heard anything about that. So we need some clarification for the public and for the new members who are coming in. It's kind of hard to put that kind of responsibility on a new set of people who have no background in this, is what I'm trying to say. So there should be something going on to let them know how this operates, what this is all about. Because when I ask, well, what is the Hope Center about? I was told, well, it's kind of like charity. And I was under the impression, well, charity, what does that mean? Helping with utilities or, that kind of thing? And it said, no. I was given the impression storms, like hurricanes or tornadoes or what have you, well, what is the Hope Center going to be doing the rest of the time? So I think my questions are legitimate, not only for me, but for the public and for the new members who are coming in. They need help in making decisions on these types of situations.
Ms. August, if I may respond to a piece of it, Mr. may want to respond to the rest of it, but what I can tell you is that I've had conversations with Mayor-elect Simeon, and we have had several meetings with the new council members, and
heard anything, and I think it would be a disservice to the new members not to have some background information on what they're voting for. They might have questions, but they don't even know what kind of questions to ask. Once this is just put, you vote yea or nay, they don't know what they're voting for. And I think that this is where we need to really be able to go in depth with them to explain to them how things are working, because they do have to answer to the rest of their constituents. And when people start asking questions and they don't have the answers, there you are up a creek without an oar.
I understand, and we agree with you, and we'll be scheduling those meetings prior to action.
Thank you.
Did you want to share anything,
So,
Mark?
Yeah, so, all disaster recovery money, just like our regular CDBG entitlement money, that compliance comes through, community development. So we're more than willing to meet with the councilman. There's actually on the city's website, under Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery, there's an amendment that explains what the Hope Center is. So I heard you mention about, you know, like it's how religious organizations, you know, might not be,
Able to get that grant.
yeah, that was a thing of the past. George Bush wrote an executive order that made, George W. Bush wrote an executive order that changed that. But in any subrecipient agreement where a religious organization is involved, they must state that they will not proselytize. In other words, you know, they won't evangelize to people who come in for whatever services they're making available. And it's a whole lot of stuff. I could stand up here and try to tell you everything, but there's a lot of stuff that the Hope Center, things that they would be doing. And but it's on the website, on the substantial amendment for our CDBG DR action plan. And like I mentioned before, we more than willing if anybody wants to come in and read up on that. Now, as far as the property is concerned, like Mr. Cardone mentioned, that's something that that's going to be answered in a matter of weeks. But for right now, the project itself, if anybody wants to read up on that, it's on the city's webpage.
Well, I guess everybody doesn't have access to the webpage, and that's why they're asking, passing things by me to pass on to those who are left behind. I would hate to have to vote on something that I have very little knowledge about, and so that's why I'm bringing it up, because the new members, we have 4 new people coming in, and to ask them to vote yea or nay on something perhaps that they don't fully understand, I think is a disservice to them as well as to their constituents who they must answer to. Thank you. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the North Lake Charles Economic Development Board. We were approached before election, I think, or maybe after election, but anyway, it was deferred until this new council comes in. And again, I think that we ought to have, or not we, but you, the city needs to have meetings to explain what this is all about, or have the people who are personally involved in it to come in and school the council members as to what that's about. The last time we mentioned that, I think I don't want to guess, but I am going to guess it was like $600,000+ that they were asking for. And personally, you're going to have 4 minority, what is considered minority council members, and you have a minority, what is considered a minority mayor. You have 5 people who represent the city of Lake Charles, but they also represent that area as well. And I would think that with that many, you have 5 people, I would think even our mayor lives in North Lake Charles, so I'm sure he's got a lot of ideas. So I'm just wondering, why do we have to even consider that with that amount of money when you got people on board who's willing to take that over? So I'm just throwing things out, because you all know I always bring things up and I guess put my foot in my mouth, but these are things that people bring up to me, and there are also things that I think about. So since this is my last day, I just thought I would leave those thoughts with everybody here to maybe think about. And maybe they don't need to think about it at all, but I do know there are some people who are concerned about what's going on. Okay, that's all for me. Mr. Gary Jackson, would you come up and give your name and address for the record, please, and state your concern?
That's my phone.
Either one, sir.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you to Mr. Hart for inviting me here today. And Coach Guillen, you've been a wonderful coach to me at Pearl Watson, and look like you're on your way out. Good to see you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
my concern,
Name and address real quick for the
okay,
record.
yes, sir. My current address, my name is Gary, Geary Jackson. Current address is 2335 Klein Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm here today to talk about 1103 Fournette Street, okay? When I seen the red tag that went on the house, I contacted Mr. Man, what is his name?
Hester?
Yes, ma'am, Mr. Hester. I talked to Mr. Hester and somebody told me that they had a program that would build me a house, but I couldn't fill out an application for it because I had to get it in my name first. So I had to go with through my brothers, my sisters, a niece and nephew, and they all donated the property to me. But it took a while because some of them was out of town. So I got Southwest Louisiana law firm to do the business for me, and I told Mr. Hester I needed some time. So they went on, tore the house down, and the papers came 2 days later. So I was wondering, what can I do?
Mr. Tisno.
Because I told him I needed some time. They made me come in. I came in February, and at that time they told me that they'll give me 30 days to find a demolition contractor. So I came back 30 days later and said I couldn't find none. So they tore the house down, and the house needed to be standing for me to get on the program.
Mr. Tisno, can you answer for him, please?
Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, the rules for our programs are rehab, whether it be rehab or reconstruction. In order for us to help assist someone, there has to be a house there for us to go in and make a determination whether we're gonna repair it or not, or reconstruct it. So the issue, one of the problems, of course, is that he never actually lived in the house. So it was, the house is just, I guess, I don't know how long it's been sitting.
I lived in the house, but when my mother died in 2017, I took over paying the taxes and taking care of the property. So they decided that they would donate the property to me, but they had to do a double succession. My grandfather, when he died, my mom didn't do a succession, and when she died, I had to do a double succession since it wasn't put in her name. So I asked for time to get this done. And 2 more days, I came up two days short. I got the papers 2 days after they tore the house down. The house wasn't livable. I had to put boards down in the house to not go through the floor when I walked in there. The ceiling, all the stuff came down. I could see the little plank boards in the ceiling where, when he built the house in the 1900s, My grandfather, he was a good man. He built that with his own hands, and I was trying to protect the legacy, a homestead, Between Louisiana Avenue and Enterprise Boulevard, on the north side, they had 9 houses in that row. 9 houses. Okay, my mother's house was the very last one to be tore down. Now, I was trying to get a house built so something could happen in the neighborhood. But Fournette Street, seems like to me, it's all over North Lake Charles. I was trying to get a house built. I've been disabled since 2013. 2013. I got hurt on my job at 16 because I found a check stub from my mama on the floor that said $144. I was 15 years old. I did the math. 7 children with $144. I had to quit school and go to work. So I went out there 6 hours out in the Gulf of Mexico. Shouldn't have been out there at my age, but I tried. That's all I did. I worked my whole life with one hand until I got to Citgo and I almost got the other one cut off.
Mr. Jackson, I think we all understand the hardship that you're going through and what you're trying to do. There is, however, a process that must be gone through when you're working with federal funds.
Yes, ma'am.
If anyone can help you, it would be Mr. Tisno, because he's the one who works with that type of thing here with the city. And if he says it's a go, it's a go. And if he says it's not, it's not. And if he looks through it and finds the least little crack that he can slip in through to help you, he will. So you keep in touch with Mr. Mark Tisno, the gentleman right there behind you,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
he will help you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's nothing we can do as a whole, because those are funds that are completely out of our hands right now.
Yeah. You see, I didn't know the difference.
Yes, sir.
I thought they was tearing it down to build another. I didn't know the house was supposed to be standing
Yeah.
when they
Well,
came through.
Well, I'm very sorry on behalf of the council. You know, I'm very sorry that it happened within that narrow window of time. But like I said, it's absolutely nothing we can do. But if you need help and anybody can find answers for you, it would be Mr. Tisno.
Yes, ma'am.
That's his experience.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for coming, and I wish you the best of luck. You have something to
Yes,
say,
ma'am.
Mr. Harvey?
Thank you for coming and thank you for expressing how you feel. The other thing, I suggested that he have a conversation with Mr. Morgan or someone in the legal department, because I think that being that you did have some documentation or something like that, I'm not sure what could be done to be from a retro standpoint, but at the same time, I think that he was just trying to say that the conversation you had on the phone with me was that it was some type of miscommunication.
Yeah.
So
It
that's
was
why I
miscommunication,
suggested
but-
that he also not only come talk to Mr. Tisno, but also talk to Mr. Morgan and see from the legal department. I know I'm not an attorney, but to see, if you can just convey that information to Mr. Morgan and his department.
Okay.
Yes,
sure.
sir. And that's Mr. Morgan right there, first guy.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Morgan, can I give you my phone number or something? Area code 346.
You can just walk over and give it to them, so you don't have to put it all in everybody's business.
You can all have my phone
Have a
number.
bunch-
Okay. Area code 346.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Meeting adjourned.
Yes.